go yourself, you demonic fucking scum. This just can't be what this movement is. And if it is, I just don't want any part of it. Erica didn't choose this, man. And I'm sorry if the language distracts from you, but I can think of no other New York way to say it than fuck you, motherfucker.
For all the people who are watching Candace stitch together a bunch of specious nonsense because they like the gossip of it, please have some more respect for yourself than that, because what she's doing is evil. And when you watch her show, she gets paid to do that evil. She is making money off the murder of Charlie Kirk by literally implicating his widow and everyone else at TPUSA in that murder, and then trying to dig up pseudo dirt on the wife of the person who was murdered. I don't know what to call that other than evil trash. Candace Owens is an evil.
Ben Shapiro and Dan Bongino are having what might be the most awkward public meltdown we've seen in a long time. And it all kicked off after Candace Owens released a series digging into Erica Kirk. For years, Shapiro and Bongino built their whole brand on being fearless truth-tellers and anti-establishment fighters. That was the image, at least. But now Candace is asking tough questions about the assassination of her friend, and suddenly the reaction coming from them looks explosive. Bongino jumped on his podcast and went off, calling Candace demonic, and even saying he hopes hellfire comes down on her.
What's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people.
Then Shapiro fired back with a heated rant of his own, labeling Candace evil and twisted, turning the whole situation into a loud public clash. So this is the kind of reaction someone gets when a person with a big public platform starts asking questions about the death of Charlie Kirk? The whole situation looks wildly hypocritical. For years, figures like Shapiro and Bongino pushed the image that they were willing to challenge powerful circles and speak uncomfortable truths.
Some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel?
But now, look at the silence around the Epstein case. People remember that voices like Chow Rhee openly called for the Epstein files to be released in full, and even talked about the possibility that Epstein had ties to foreign intelligence. Those are huge claims that sparked serious debate. And people also keep pointing back to Charlie's final interview with Ben Shapiro, which happened just 48 hours before he was killed. If honoring Charlie's legacy truly matters, critics are asking why Erica, Ben Shapiro, and Dan Bongino aren't addressing the Epstein topic more directly. If that conversation mattered so much to Charlie, then why does it feel like the subject is being avoided now? Many critics say the answer is simple. These figures aren't acting like fearless truth-tellers at all. Instead, they look more like gatekeepers who get nervous whenever someone inside their own circle starts asking uncomfortable questions. And right now, the person shaking things up is Candace Owens with her new docuseries focused on Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie.
Candace Owens has released a trailer for her new series attacking Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk. She has been suggesting for a while that TPUSA was complicit, if not in the murder of Charlie Kirk, then in the cover-up of the murder of Charlie Kirk. This is the stuff that Candace Owens has been doing. She is a conspiratorial, evil person, because that's who would do something like this. Where are Charlie's friends? When the signs are there for years on end, and people say nothing, and people continue to say nothing today.
As soon as Candace released the trailer, the reaction from Ben Shapiro was intense. He blasted her publicly, calling her twisted and evil, and his comments quickly stirred up supporters online who rushed to defend him and criticize her. But the backlash didn't stop there. Shapiro also accused Candace of trying to profit from the controversy surrounding Charlie's death, while framing Erica and the Turning Point organization as the ones being unfairly targeted in the whole situation. A lot of critics say it's strange to see Ben Shapiro lecturing anyone about being a decent person, and they argue the biggest issue is the image he's presenting right now. Lately, Shapiro has been speaking as if he was one of Charlie Kirk's closest allies and a protector of his legacy. But according to claims highlighted by Candace Owens, the relationship may not have been that simple. Candace said that private text messages from Charlie showed a very different tone behind the scenes. In those messages, she says Charlie made it clear he wasn't a big fan of Shapiro, and even warned that Shapiro might try to damage both of their careers. One message Candace referenced said they should treat Ben like noise, and it also claimed that his respect amongst movement fighters is quite low. Those statements instantly added more drama to an already explosive situation. But according to what Candace shared, Charlie didn't stop there. She said he continued explaining his concerns about Ben Shapiro in more private messages.
You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy.
In one message Candace described, Charlie allegedly wrote, "The Ben thing involves me more than he wants to admit." Then he added a dramatic comparison, saying, "He knows Jon Snow is stronger than the dragons that fly higher." That line instantly caught attention because it sounded like a straight-up Game of Thrones reference. Candace also claimed that during that conversation, she and Charlie talked about how Ben might have viewed Charlie as a political rival inside the movement. The discussion reportedly turned even more dramatic when Charlie used another Game of Thrones-style comparison and suggested that Ben was trying to push them out of the spotlight. At one point, Candace said Charlie joked in a message that Ben was sending his incestuous brother to go try and kill us. Anyone familiar with Game of Thrones can see the reference there. And when Candace suggested that Ben might simply dislike how close she and Charlie were, Charlie reportedly replied with a short but intense answer, "It's worse." Candace also claimed that one message from Charlie was especially blunt. According to what she described, Charlie allegedly said, "He views you as my slave. 100% control her," is what he was really saying to me when he called. That claim quickly added another layer of controversy to the situation. Now fast forward to today. Charlie is gone, and the public fight has only gotten louder.
You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell on every inch of your body. If there's an afterlife, oh, and I believe there is. I believe in the second creation. I don't pretend to be the judge and jury, but I know you're not in it.
Critics of Ben Shapiro argue that he is now using Charlie's death as a shield while going after Candace online. Candace herself pushed back on that idea, saying that in her view, Shapiro never truly respected Charlie and instead treated him more like a useful political ally than a real friend. She also claimed that Shapiro tends to clash with people who don't belong to his tight inner circle. And then there's Dan Bongino, which is where the drama ramps up even more. Bongino blasted Candace for raising questions about Erica Kirk's behavior, and even called her demonic, going as far as saying she deserves to feel the flames of hell, a comment that shocked a lot of listeners. But wait a second. Where was Dan Bongino's outrage when the conversation turned to Epstein? That's the question critics keep bringing up. If you look back at the timeline, things start to look pretty interesting. Before Bongino stepped into a government role, he was one of the loudest voices demanding that the Epstein files be fully released. He built a huge part of his public image around exposing hidden government secrets and pushing for transparency. On his shows and appearances, he repeatedly promised that once the truth came out, it would shake everything.
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. There are a lot of people who are knee-deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
At one point, he even talked about pushing for major disclosures on day one and suggested the whole situation would finally be blown wide open. But then things changed. On March 17th, 2025, Bongino started his new role as FBI Deputy Director. And according to internal emails later reported by Bloomberg, by March 18th, his second day on the job, he was already receiving guidance about how parts of the Epstein files should be redacted before being released. Critics say that after that moment, Bongino's tone around the Epstein scandal suddenly changed. The same voice that once pushed hard for full transparency seemed to quiet down once the files and documents were actually being handled. So from that perspective, some people argue the contrast looks strange. Bongino moved past the Epstein issue and focused elsewhere. Yet Candace is the one being called demonic, simply for asking questions about the circumstances surrounding Charlie Kirk's death.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
That contradiction is exactly what many critics say has damaged Bongino's credibility. and the timing raised even more eyebrows. The moment Candace announced her series Bride of Charlie, a wave of online reactions appeared almost instantly. Commentators began using similar language to criticize her, repeating phrases like evil and demonic, which only made the whole controversy explode even further. The backlash looked so coordinated that some people online began wondering if it was more than just random criticism. Soon after, a leaked email started circulating on social media, with claims that Turning Point USA had been encouraging influencers to repeat certain phrases when talking about Candace. According to those allegations, the goal was to push a clear narrative and frame Candace as an evil grifter trying to profit from a tragedy. Those claims quickly fueled even more debate across political circles and online platforms. Supporters of Candace then pushed back with their own question. If she is really just a conspiracy theorist, like critics such as Shapiro and Bongino argue, why would there be such an aggressive effort to discredit her in the first place? Candace points people to her docuseries Bride of Charlie, where she says she uncovered multiple inconsistencies surrounding Erica's life story, her family background, and the public image she presented to the world. And that's where the controversy really exploded. In the docuseries Bride of Charlie, Candace says she began digging deeper into details that she believes don't fully add up. She pointed to different timelines, past claims, and pieces of Erica's background that she argues deserve closer attention.
I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination.
According to Candace, the more questions she raised, the stronger the backlash became. Critics online started debating whether these were serious concerns that should be addressed or simply speculation being pushed too far. Either way, the reaction from major voices in the movement made the situation even louder. What turned this into a full-blown online storm was the clash between two narratives. On one side, supporters say Candace is asking tough questions that others are afraid to touch. On the other side, her critics insist the claims are unfair and damaging, and that battle of narratives is exactly what keeps this story trending everywhere. Another detail that kept people talking was the timing of everything. Candace began releasing clips and teasers from Bride of Charlie, and almost immediately, the online debate exploded again. Supporters flooded comment sections saying the questions she raised deserved answers, while critics pushed back hard and accused her of stirring controversy. The situation quickly turned into a public showdown inside the same political space. Influencers, commentators, and podcast hosts all started weighing in, each side defending their version of the story. Some said Candace was exposing uncomfortable truths, while others argued the series was crossing a line. And the more people argued about it, the bigger the story became. Every new clip, every response video, and every podcast rant only added more fuel to the online drama, turning the whole situation into a non-stop media firestorm. What really pushed the drama to another level was how fast the internet picked sides. Within hours of new clips from Bride of Charlie appearing online, thousands of comments, reaction videos, and live stream debates started popping up everywhere. Supporters said Candace was doing what journalists are supposed to do, asking hard questions that powerful people don't want asked. But critics fired back just as fast. They argued the series was built on speculation and accused Candace of pushing a narrative that could damage reputations. The back and forth turned into a loud online battle, with every statement getting dissected and shared across social media. And that's why the story refuses to fade away. Every new claim, every response from major commentators, and every new clip from the series sends the conversation spinning again, keeping the entire controversy front and center. At this point, the situation has turned into something much bigger than just one disagreement. What started as a docu-series announcement quickly spiraled into a massive clash between major voices who once moved in the same circles. Now the spotlight is on every statement, every interview, and every post connected to the story. Supporters of Candace say the reaction from powerful commentators proves that her questions struck a nerve. They argue that if the claims were meaningless, there wouldn't be such an intense effort to shut the conversation down. Meanwhile, critics insist the accusations and theories are reckless and unfair, warning that speculation can spiral out of control online. And that tension between investigation and criticism is exactly what keeps this drama alive, with both sides digging in and refusing to back down. And the biggest reason this story keeps spreading is because people feel like there are still unanswered questions. Every time Candace releases another clip or talks about the series, the debate starts all over again. Some viewers say the details she points out deserve serious attention, while others argue the claims are being stretched too far. What makes the situation even more dramatic is that the people involved all have massive audiences. When figures like Shapiro, Bongino, and Candace clash publicly, millions of followers immediately jump into the conversation. So now the internet is watching every move. Every statement, every response, and every new piece of information gets analyzed in real time. And as long as both sides keep responding to each other, the controversy around Bride of Charlie isn't slowing down anytime soon. And while Ben Shapiro and Dan Bongino keep insisting this whole situation is just conspiracy talk, the conversation inside Turning Point circles seems to be getting louder. Some people connected to the organization have started speaking out and backing Candace, claiming that anyone who questions the official story around Charlie's death faces serious pushback. One former TPUSA communications staffer, Aubrey Locke, even came forward publicly and said she lost her job after raising questions about the narrative surrounding what happened to Charlie. That claim immediately added more tension to an already heated situation. Supporters of Candace argue that the reason critics keep calling her demonic is because they have run out of other arguments. They say the receipts, the messages, and the timeline are all out there for people to examine themselves. So keep watching closely and keep asking the questions people are debating online. And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with others, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.